Technology is changing our world. Our devices allow us to do things that were previously unimaginable. But is that a good thing? Do our devices bring us together, or are they separating us? Or are we more alone? Are we more connected to knowledge, or just more likely to believe misinformation? We know that new technology helps save lives, but what about the health risks from being so sedentary? Are we more distracted, or are we more engaged? What are the effects of adding metrics to our social interactions? And what does it mean that you can publish anywhere at any time and share your voice with the world?
Technology is a pretty cool thing, but it's also a little bit scary. And one of the things that I personally worry about quite a bit is that we talk a lot about the future of work and technology and automation and AI. And one of the stories, one of the scenarios that keeps being painted is that we will all have robots that work for us. We will all have software that does the menial jobs that we don't like to do, and that robots and technology will handle everything else for us. And that's certainly one potential scenario that might happen. I think it's a little bit utopian, because anybody that uses technology today knows that technology always breaks, that technology always gets hacked, that technology always has issues. And part of me wonders if our over-reliance on technology is in some way in the future, if it's going to come back to bite us a little bit. In other words, if we have technology that does farming for us, we have technology that flies planes for us, technology that allows us to have self-driving cars, technology that does all of this AI inside of our organization so that we don't need to do the boring jobs. My big worry is, what happens when the technology breaks? What happens when the tractor or the automated system that you have that's looking after your crops breaks down? What happens when the autonomous vehicles get hacked and there's gridlock or worse? What happens when inside of your company you make so many investments in AI and all of a sudden it stops working or it starts giving you wrong advice? If we put so much of our emphasis and our reliance on technology, I guess my big worry is that, does that make us a little bit less human? Does that distort our reality some way? Because we're essentially seeing things, but we're not necessarily using our eyes and our senses to see things. We're making observations about the world based on code, based on algorithms, based on what software and hardware and machines tell us. So that's my worry. Will we get to a point in the world, in our future, in the not too distant future, where we lose sight of the things that make us human, where we forget to do the things that make us human, and where we live our lives relying so much on technology that this humanity aspect disappears? Something I think about.
While technology has undoubtedly transformed the way we live, work, and communicate, it has not been without its negative consequences. In our increasingly digital world, issues such as addiction to screens, privacy breaches, social isolation, and the erosion of traditional skills are all too prevalent. The constant bombardment of information and the pressure to keep up with the latest gadgets can lead to heightened stress and anxiety. Moreover, the automation of jobs raises concerns about unemployment and economic inequality. It is crucial for society to address these challenges, finding ways to strike a balance between the benefits and drawbacks of technology, and to use technological advancements responsibly to ensure a healthier and more sustainable future for all.
Hello, good evening. May God bless you all. We are here once again with the Speak Your Mind show, where you can share what is in your mind, what is your opinion about different subjects that we have. And tonight we are speaking about technology. Is technology something that it is used to connect people, or it's actually something that it's separating more than connecting? Together with me, like always, I have Miss Audrey and Pastor Giovanni. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, Pastor, and to everyone who watches us right now.
So in a few, we are going to read more comments and people are going to be able to speak their mind. For you to call us, it's 877-785-8700, 877-785-8700. Pastor Giovanni, I believe we have the poll too for people to share, comment, and give their opinion. Am I right?
Yes, sir, Pastor. This person can scan right now the QR code that appears at the bottom of your screen. And we ask the following: is technology a bridge that connects people, or is it a screen that separates them? We have two answers right now: connects everyone around the world, or if you just simply think that it separates people. And Pastor Israel, this person, on top of calling us, can also send us a message through WhatsApp, 437-233-9815. Once again, 437-233-9815.
Ms. Audrey, those who are watching us through our social media, Facebook, YouTube, whatever they are watching us, they can too send a comment, send a message for us, right?
Yes, correct, Pastor. They can search here at Speak Your Mind, Speak Your Mind CA, and we also have some comments that I'd like to share already. You can go ahead and continue as we go along with the show, but as of now, we have Beatrice that says like this. In her opinion, I had 3 days away from my smartphone. It was a vacation and it was awesome. I went camping, kayaking, I enjoyed time with nature, and it was amazing. I need to do that more with friends. A lot of times with technology nowadays, we forget the most small details and we take it for granted. So this was her opinion. Just like Beatrice, you can share your mind and give us your opinion, and we can share here on the show.
I believe there are people that if they go 3 days without their phone, they go crazy.
They go crazy.
We are going to speak more about this. You can connect, you can call us, connect with us, 877-785-8700. I have Divya on the line. She wants to speak to us. Divya, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Divya, what is your opinion? Do you think technology connects people more than it separates them? What is your mind on this?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I think it does definitely connect people and connect family. Like, for an example, like, like me being in Canada, I can talk to like my family, my cousins that are like all the way like in Fiji, and like, vice versa, wherever they are, like US and like New Zealand and Australia. Like, it's like nice to be able to do that. But I also do think that like people can misuse it, and like that can like drive people away too. Like, for example, like when I'm at a dinner and my family's like constantly on their phone, like it gets me annoyed, and it doesn't make me feel good that I'm sitting right there in front of them and giving my attention and presence while like they're like constantly on their phone and like, not doing the same thing.
In your case, do you think it separates more than it connects people? What do you think?
Yes, I think it does separate more than connect.
I think it connects to those who are far, but separates those who are close.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you very much for speaking your mind, Divya. Have a good night.
Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you. 877-785-8700. You can call us right now, because in a few, you're gonna be able. This is a live show. It's 10:08 right now. This is a live show. You can call us right now. This is not a recorded show. This is a live. We are here in Toronto right now. It's 10:08 right now. And you can call us to give your opinion, to share your mind with us. This is the first live show here in Canada where people can call without being censored. Of course, we are not going to allow curse words, and we don't want no hatred here. But you are able to call and speak your mind. Pastor Giovanni, I believe you have some comment for us.
Yes, I have Ricardo here, who graduated from the university here in Toronto. And he goes like this: I've done enough research to come up with my own conclusion. And I think that technology has unfortunately separated us more than connect us together. I've seen so many things happen that can endanger somebody and poison their mind to the point where they're not able to go forward. As opposed to the people who say that it connects everyone, yes, but in a professional standpoint, in a business standpoint, and on a personal standpoint, I think that it separates people. And Pastor Israel, this person can continue sending their message or even voting on our poll through the QR code in our Telegram channel about our question today.
Ms. Audrey, I believe you have some comments too.
Yes, Pastor, I have Moses that wanted to share a personal experiment that he did himself. He says as well, in his opinion, it separates people than brings people closer, because 1 month ago, he actually decided to stop using his own cell phone as a part of a personal experiment. I started to notice how my anxiety levels decreased after 1 week. I also felt more focused on my daily tasks and conversations. Even though my mood improved a little, I still felt very uncomfortable, like I was missing something. After 2 weeks, my quality of sleep improved. I became more confident to talk to new people and hang out. Some people even began to think that I was weird because I started to talk to everyone. But as always, many people were on their phones, including the elevator, at the grocery store. A lot of people became more rude. And I was shocked to notice this because I only noticed when I stopped using my phone. But I continued. After 3 weeks, I decided to go further: no social media, no television, and etc. My friends and family even started to question me and ask if I'm not included in the day to day things that people are talking about. I started to think that it was time to go back on social media to find out what was going on. But I started to notice the difference, and I rather choose to enjoy the moments rather than be wasting my time on trying to find out what everybody else is into. So this was his comment. As he said, it was a personal experiment of his. Everybody has their own opinion, and like always, we want you to speak your mind, and we'll share your comments here live on our show.
I think I'm gonna quit my phone so I can sleep better. Well, the name of the show is Speak Your Mind. You can share your experience, you can speak your mind freely here on the topic. The topic tonight is technology. Has it connected us or drive us apart? Pastor Giovanni, we have Gregory on the phone. Please talk to him.
Yes, let's see if we can connect him now. Gregory, do you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Good evening, Gregory. How you doing?
So far, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. We're asking everybody the following question about technology. Do you think that it's a bridge that connects people, or do you think that it's a screen that separates them?
Well, to be honest, that's a very good question. I think that technology is a way of it connects people, but if people take it to another level, it will separate them.
Do you think that happens often, Gregory, where people take something that can benefit them and they start going past the normality, and it starts to become dangerous?
Okay, well, it can become dangerous, and people can also go out of their way to do things because of technology.
Now, what would you say to people then, Mr. Gregory, to those who use technology? They use, for example, Facebook, they use their phones just to connect with people from another country or far away from them right now.
Okay, well, I use Facebook, so I can tell you, Facebook let me connect with a lot of people, meet new people, but there's also a trick to it, meaning that Facebook can also, or I would say, it can also destroy your life as well.
Mr. Gregory, thank you so much for speaking your mind with us. Have a good night, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Take care. 877-785-8700, or this person, Pastor Israel, can send us a message through WhatsApp, 437-233-9815.
We are going to hit the streets of Toronto. Actually, Miss Audrey went to hit the streets of Toronto to see what people here in Canada, they think about this topic. Let us see.
Hello, everyone. We are back out here in the streets of Toronto, and we want to find out. Today's topic is cell phones. What are your thoughts? Has it separated us from family, from friends? How has our communication been? Let's find out your thoughts. Do you remember how life was before cell phones?
Yes, rotary phones.
It was good. You know, everybody just ride their bikes to each other's houses. We just meet up at a park or something. It was good.
I would say it was good because there was more appreciation for the things around me, like nature, spending time with family, reading the Bible and things like this.
It was wonderful. I mean, it was quiet when you rode the bus. People weren't so stressed out or zombied out on their phones all the time. people can talk together, can play together, and then they will stay outside at the park or watch movie together. Yeah, something like that.
Do you think that cell phones have caused people to lose communication with each other?
I think the skill level for people in communication area it digressed. So people are more like on their own or by themselves. I think the skills in communication really grow when you engage with people.
With messengers and social networks, as they became more and more popular, people started to see each other less and less. So that's why it happened.
It's like a lost art. People don't know how to communicate. People don't know how to compliment, smile, and do these things like they used to a long time ago.
They just don't talk anymore. They don't speak. And so much about life is communication. And if part of that's by technology, well, that's kind of sad, actually. I mean, a cell phone, what used to be a convenience, is now a pastime. How sad. When I'm on the bus, I read the book. I read my books.
Would you prefer a phone call or a face-to-face conversation?
Face to face.
Face-to-face conversation, because it gives you more and more expressions to show to another person.
If it's my lover, phone call. If it's a regular friend, face to face. Yeah.
I prefer text message because my English is not so good.
Phone call. I have a landline, actually, which I prefer.
Do you think it's safer or should we still, be simple and have our regular cards with us?
We should have both, because remember, we still have elderly people who don't know how to use technology. So it's like, and I'm not going to be sitting down in 3 hours to teach my Grammy how to just fill out an application online. So we got to keep both. Yeah.
And today, do you have like any children, grandchildren? How do they communicate with you?
3 children and 1 granddaughter.
And would you say that it's just more about technology with them?
Yeah, it's more that way, but still we have face-to-face conversation.
And have any of them ever broken their cell phone? How did they react when they lost their phone or their phone happened to be broken?
Yeah, it's almost like young people value it so much that it's the whole world to them. And it shouldn't be that way.
And do you think with family, with friends, with communication, has cell phones done something good or something bad?
Oh, bad. We don't have family time like that no more. We just be on our phone. At the dinner table, you're on our phone. To restaurants, we're on our phone. We just want to snap to blog. That's where the issue comes. Everybody think they're some type of blog content creator. So if they go to have breakfast, their phone is just a distraction. Ooh, I got to snap this. So, yeah, no.
All my family is in Brazil, so I have to call to them. And it's very important because they are very far away here. And I call to them every day. So, yeah, it's important.
With regards with the cell phone, it helps a lot with the people like if you're not live in the same country, like for example, if you're an OFW and you have families back home, it's so easy for you to communicate with them like anytime you want, whenever there's a Wi-Fi.
And so do you think that there's still benefits to have a cell phone?
Oh, yeah, because, the world is turning into technology now. So everything is getting tech savvy. You could pay things with your phone. You could explore with your phone. You can make money with your phone. So it has its pros and cons.
The benefit I would say for myself would be for research, because you can always find a lot of interesting information. And then, but remember, it's also important to have a critical mind. So yes, it has its benefits in terms of learning information and finding information, but I think we need a balance in life.
But how many hours do you stay on your phone? Like, do you use your phone from morning? Is it the first thing you do when you wake up?
Yes, when I wake up and during when I am the bus and maybe at night when I'm going to sleep.
And what would you do if your phone broke?
Because nowadays cell phones are very important where you can use your personal account, your bank account, something like that. So anytime you want to send money, you order online, you can use your phone. So probably at first you would feel like it's crazy.
And what would you do if your phone broke?
It's actually broken right now and I'm still living. But I would say it feels horrible, but I could live without a phone.
Have you ever left the house and forgot your phone?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah, sometimes I leave it in my boyfriend's car. Like, I don't care.
And what would you say to like young people today? Like, what are other forms of way to still, even though we have the cell phones, but what would you like to see youths doing more apart from the time that they're using their phones?
I would say discipline of setting it aside and realizing that you're going to build your skills more for life. You're going to use that for a lifetime when you engage with people and have a conversation, because that's going to build your skills more. And plus, if you get a job in communication, or you get a job that's going to be, you're going to be like, not maybe forced, but be asked to communicate. And it's good to have that skill. If you don't have the skill, then you can feel kind of left out or feel like behind. And cell phones, they have their pluses, they're good, but there's part of it, it really digresses the communication.
I would say try to keep your focus in life. Try to keep it on positive things. Like don't waste your time too much. Do what you have to do, but try not to put fear in your mind from the news, from the internet. It's too much for your mind. Try to have a critical mind. Question, learn as much as you can.
877-785-8700. It's the number for you to call us. Pastor Giovanni, I believe you have more people giving their comments.
I have somebody who goes like this. I have Kieran, who messages us from Winnipeg. She goes like this. In a way, I would say both. Technology has created various options to communicate with people from a device which can fit into our hands. But also, we have become so addicted to technology that we forgot how life can be less complicated and simple without technology. Now, we rarely connect with other people and in our own home who are sitting beside you, but you're interested in people all over the globe. And I have Susan, who has a PhD in human resource management and business here in Toronto. She goes like this: technology was made by man and not the other way around. It was made to help build, grow, and facilitate better living, which is visible around us today in abundance. Remember, you can scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen to join our poll. In a few moments, we're going to be ending the poll, but you guys are going to be able to send in your vote. And this person, Pastor, can send us a message also through WhatsApp, 437-233-9815.
Ms. Audrey, I believe you have more comments.
Yes, Pastor, I have Sam that says like this: I feel like people really underestimate the power of addiction, even if it's just a phone. Many people can't last even a few hours without their phones. Like, I know a friend of mine that when she leaves her phone at home, she goes back for it, even though she's running late for work. So many people depend on this, but I believe it was created so that it can benefit. It is the power of addiction that people tend to forget. We must be mindful of what is occupying our time and the effect it has.
Well, it's better to run late than to run without a phone, right?
Yes.
That's her opinion.
Yes, that's her opinion.
We have Nash in the line from Vancouver. Nash, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good.
Nash, tell us, what is your opinion about technology? Do you think technology connects people or separates people? What is your mind on this?
I don't have a yes or no question. Answer, sorry. It's a 50-50 from my side, because I feel like it benefits in a way that it can connect to people. Nowadays, a phone is so important to people that you can do everything in the phone, right? You can connect to your bank, you can connect to other people, you can talk to other people where they are, what they're doing. And on the other side, I was just listening to the lady that was speaking on the phone, saying that if you get addicted on phone, on the technology, then it's bad for you, right? So my answer is 50-50. Either it's good or either it's bad. You have to be mindful of what you're doing, right, with the technology. That's all it is.
Do you think people who are close to each other today, they use a lot of their phone and they forget about the person who are next to them? For example, in many cases, when we go to restaurants or places like this, where we see a family together, many times we see the whole family in their phones and they don't enjoy the moment there in the table. What do you think about this?
I agree to that. Many times people don't give attention to people who are sitting right beside you just because they're on their phone. they give more time on their phone instead of their family or the people that know they're sitting right beside them, right? So I agree to that, that it's a very bad disadvantages of the technology that is nowadays, that they're addicted to it, right?
Thank you, Nash, for speaking your mind. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Buster.
Have a good night. You can call us from anywhere here in Canada or whatever you are watching us from, 877-785-8700. 877-785-8700. Let us watch our next segment. I'll be right back with all of you.
I think these trends, you know, if you look at the different trends that are happening around us in the world, you know, are pulling away at the center. They're not bringing us together, but they're really keeping us sort of isolated in our own bubbles. And so I'm going to go through a few examples of that. You know, the connected in isolation. You know, we talk about the iPad, we talk about these things where we sit down and we're constantly on the thing and we're all there and we can all text each other, but is there any real interaction? And that's the biggest problem in today's world. We can't go to someone and say, hey, I believe in you through an iPad, right? We can't go around and say, hey, we're going to solve this problem. I'll send you the answer by text, right? We're isolated in our iPads, in our devices. And then there's a thing called confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is when you totally believe you're correct and everyone else is bad. And you have this set of information that you're being fed by Google, Facebook, Twitter, where you follow the things that you really like, right? Because, you know, if I like Fox News, I'll follow Fox News till the end of the day. And then I say, oh, look at that guy that follows CNN. He must be crazy. And so we end up listening to the media and to all these things because they sort of know what we like and they just keep feeding it to us and feeding it to us. And we stop trying to understand other people. Why is that? Why are we letting technology enslave us? I'm going to end with one story. There's a movie that I really like, and as I was trying to put all my thoughts together, a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you use this allegory? And it's a movie, the name of it is Blade Runner. It's a little bit old, but it's Harrison Ford. And Harrison Ford is this cop who's supposed to take and make sure that in the future, there's all these robots going around. And you can't tell the difference between robots and humans. And it so happens that they send all the robots away everywhere to do all the menial work because, you know, technology is so advanced that people just don't have to work. So it's sort of like a dystopian society where people just hang out and get sedated and they're miserably alone doing nothing. And once in a while, some of these robots that are out around in the universe, they come back to Earth. And so Harrison Ford is supposed to go out there and make sure that he kills those robots. And so 4 robots come back and he's tasked with going after them. And at the end of the movie, you know, when he finally gets to one of the robots, the main bad guy, the robot ends up being more human than us humans. And I think it's a really interesting story to what we're living today. With the advances that are coming in artificial intelligence and automation, we're going to have more free time now than we've ever had in the history of the world. What are we going to do with that time? Are we going to let technology rule us? Or are we going to use that technology to become more human? To be able to share, to be able to express our feelings and our emotions, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that separates us from the machines. Thank you.
There you have it. What separates us from the machines? Well, the topic tonight is technology. Is it a bridge that connects people, or it's actually something, a screen that is separating people? Well, before we go to the next segment that teaches all the people to use technology, we have Pastor Giovanni with more comments. Go ahead, Pastor Giovanni.
I have here Pastor Maury, who goes like this: in my opinion, it does not separate people. The overuse of it.
Just a second, Pastor. They're going to switch to your camera. There you have it.
Perfect. So I have Maury who goes like this. The overuse of it is what isolates people. It by itself, used in moderation, does not isolate people. We do it to ourselves. And this tendency to overuse something has occurred before, just like the widespread use of alcohol. Produced beer, wine available to the masses. And some individuals devoted their spare time to drinking, to the detriment of their productive work towards certain goals. And it's still happening today. Considering, Pastor, there are people who are watching us right now who probably find themselves connected to their screen. And if they have that opinion, they can definitely send us their message right now through WhatsApp or even call us 877-785-8700 or through WhatsApp 437-233-9815.
Ms. Audrey, more comments, please?
Yes, Pastor. I actually have one that says from Chandler. He says, I remember seeing an article from a school saying that looking at our phones affects our necks. Even though at school we spent most of the time looking at books and writing our papers, nothing has changed. And even, Pastor, they even bring a good opinion about even posture, right? It affects people in their posture because so many people curve down. I saw this article myself that a lot of people, because they're so close to their phones, they tend to have this effect, this problem in their body with their health. They neglect certain things because of the phone.
I
remember,
Ms. Audrey, my grandmother saying that for us not to sit too close to the
TV screen,
for us not to get blind.
Yes.
Today they are putting the TV in our eyes.
It's so much closer.
Actually, not too long ago, Apple saw, not only Apple, but many companies now, they are doing, how do you call it?
VR.
The VR.
The VR.
That you put literally in your eyes. Well, I guess my grandma was wrong. 877-785-8700. You can still give us a call. I have Giselle on the line. Giselle, share your mind with us. What do you think? Is technology separating people or actually bringing them together?
I believe it brings us together when it's used in moderation. Because, for example, I met my husband when I was younger, and then years later, we found each other through Facebook, online. And then we connected, we became closer friends, and then eventually we started dating, and today we're married. So if we didn't have technology in our lives, if we didn't care about Facebook, if we didn't care about these things, we might have not been able to get to know each other or, have reconnected if it weren't for that. So for us, in my life, it's been a bridge. Even for family members that are in other countries that I don't get to see often, technology is a bridge that I can always be attentive to them. And if they need anything, I'm there. And it's quick. It's not like a letter.
So for you, technology was a bridge to love.
Yes, sir.
There you have it. Thank you, Giselle, for your opinion.
Thank you. Good night.
Well, you can call us and share your mind with us. Maybe, like Giselle, what you need is to connect with someone via technology, via the internet. Who knows? Love is waiting for you somewhere, somehow. Well, Pastor Giovanni, do you have more comments before we go to our next segment?
Yes, sir, Pastor. I have here John, who goes like this. I think it connects people. It's a little bit compared to Miss Giselle. It has connected my family throughout the world after for so long that we haven't seen each other. So now, by the simple click of a button, we're able to connect each other and bond as we did as children. I think there are some people who misuse technology and they use it in an unfortunate advantage and end up poisoning their minds and limit themselves in personal growth. This person can continue sending us a message or even calling us, Pastor. The lines are open and we are going to be attending them. 877-785-8700.
Well, let's go to our next segment. I'll be right back with all of you.
Well, Zoom has made a big change. I never really shopped online beforehand. We're playing bridge, I can go to a garden club meeting. I can go to a Probus meeting, which we're doing this afternoon. and just sit here in the comfort of our homes.
Like thousands of other seniors, Judy has embraced the necessity of using technology during the COVID-19 pandemic. And for her, help is just a call away.
I call the children and they get us going.
Other seniors turn to the even younger generation.
All the new technology is self-taught with the in-house consultants called grandchildren.
But what they all have in common is the desire to use technology to stay connected.
There was about a 60% increase in the number of older adults that are using technology because of COVID. We saw indications and examples where more older people were using things such as FaceTime and other tools, probably most importantly to connect with their social circles and their families.
And that social connection has been the biggest motivator in driving them to learn technology that they may have been nervous to try before.
You said you were a little wary at first. Now that you've been using it, do you think it's something you'll embrace going forward?
Oh, absolutely. We'll continue to embrace it.
How important do you think that kind of connection has been over these past months?
Oh, I think it's very important. I was aware and had used things like FaceTime slightly, but once I was cut off from the family, I have 2 boys down in the States with their families. And so when I wasn't able to travel, Zoom or FaceTime became the alternatives very quickly.
And one of the biggest advantages has been learning to connect to healthcare providers online.
Telehealth was one of the new ones for me, and that is very useful. And I think that going forward is going to remain.
It's been such an important development during this time, and if we can find silver linings in the past several months, I would say this is a big one.
And it is predicted that the increased use of technology by seniors will continue to grow, even after COVID restrictions are lifted.
What would be your advice to other seniors who are maybe still struggling and nervous about using this technology?
Oh, you jump into it because you can't really, other than just getting frustrated, you can't really do too much damage.
Without this technology, we wouldn't have been able to do this interview today.
That's right. Zoom strikes again.
In Toronto, Audra Brown, City News.
I never forget my grandmother, first time she discovered WhatsApp. She called the entire family like 100 times in one day. Well, give us a call and share your mind with us, okay? Is technology bringing people together or actually separating people who are already together? Pastor Giovanni, more comments, please, and afterwards, Ms. Audrey.
Yes, Pastor. We have here Leah, who goes like this. Look, of course, I personally believe that when it separates us, it's a good thing. The most important twists of my life, going into a period of intense introspection, has always been beneficial to me. I'm able to learn and progress as I am by myself working on my personal growth. So I take it more as a situation where it's developmental to each individual. And this person, Pastor or Miss Audrey, this person has been voting. And so in our poll, we are ending it in a couple of minutes. Miss Audrey, if you have any comments.
I do. I have Brittany that says like this. It is a bridge that connects people, especially for me. I have loved ones who are far, and because of certain difficulties, they are unable to travel. So in my case, it is a bridge that connects. However, I do believe that it is in case basis. Some can take it too far. I also have Jessie that says like this. In my relationship, I have a long distance relationship due to work. So it is also a bridge that connects us. So like it says here, you have to speak your opinion, speak your mind. We're going to share here. And they have said here, they believe it is a bridge that connects. What is your opinion? Continue sharing on our show.
877-785-8700. Pastor Giovanni, before we go to our next segment, close the poll there for us to know what is the results, please.
We have here, Pastor, now 61% who answered our question, is technology a bridge that connects people or a screen that separates them, says 61% connects everyone around the world. And only 39%, Pastor Israel, says that it separates people.
Well, there you have it. Let us go watch our next segment. And after that, I will share my mind with you.
So you're reading an article online when you get an instant message with a link to a funny photo, which of course you have to share. And now you're reading your Facebook news wall, which sends you to a video of a panda bear attacking a kid. And now you're reading Wikipedia to learn everything you can about the violent behavior of panda bears. And this is what 3 minutes on the internet can be like. We live like this all the time, and it has to have some kind of effect on us.
The net is making us more superficial as thinkers.
That is Nicholas Carr. He is the author of The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains. To understand this whole thing better, we need to go way back in time to say, like, the prehistoric age.
You wanted to know everything going on around you because the more you knew about your surroundings, the less likely you were to get attacked by a predator. And there's even evidence that our brains release some dopamine, pleasure-producing neurotransmitter chemical, to reward us for seeking out and finding new information.
So getting distracted felt good and helped us stay alive. But the problem is that nowadays, predators aren't much of an issue, but we still have the same brains. And also, there's the internet, which is...
It's an incredibly information-rich environment that the net creates for us, and that's why we use it so much. I mean, sounds, pictures, words, text. And what this tends to do is promote a sort of compulsive behavior in which we're constantly checking our smartphone, constantly glancing at our email inbox. We're kind of living in this perpetual state of distraction and interruption.
Which is dangerous because...
that mode of thinking crowds out the more contemplative, calmer modes of thinking.
And that focused, calm thinking is actually how we learn. It's a process called memory consolidation.
And that means the transfer of information from our short-term working memory to our long-term memory. And it's through moving information from your working memory to your long-term memory that you create connections between that information and everything else you know.
So you've got this awesome life-changing piece of information in your short-term memory, but then you hear that email ding and poof, there it goes. That email takes its place and you never get a chance to learn anything, all because of one distraction.
So attention is the key. And if we lose control of our attention or are constantly dividing our attention, then we don't really enjoy that consolidation process.
But I can hear it now. Someone out there is saying, what does learning matter if all the information in the world is just a Google search away? Well,
that is kind of shortchanging our intellects. If that's the way you're using your mind, just kind of searching very quickly and finding information and then forgetting it very quickly, you're never building knowledge. You're kind of thinking like a computer.
Which means that our very humanity is at stake. And it would be a shame if we all got assimilated because, well, humanity is pretty neat.
I really believe that if you look at the great monuments of culture, they come from people who are able to pay attention, who control their mind. That's what allows us to think in the highest terms, and think conceptually, think critically, think in some very creative ways.
And it's this kind of thinking that's at risk, being eroded one cute cat video at a time. Don't get us wrong, the internet is good for lots of things, and it should be celebrated. But the best thing we can do for our minds is to find some time every day to unplug, calm down, and focus on one thing at a time. Your email and those cats will be here when you get back.
My mind on this is that everything that's it's too much, it's bad. So if you cannot put your phone down and enjoy a conversation with your husband, with your wife, with your children, with your friends, then I think this is a problem and you must deal with this problem. The same way that if you speak too much and you forget to connect to people outside that little circle you have, it's a problem too. Everything that it takes us to an extreme, it's bad for us. This is what the Bible teaches us, and this is what God teaches us. The only thing that is never too much is prayer. And I would like to make a prayer for you. Actually, in a few, Pastor Giovanni will be doing this prayer. But before we do this special prayer for you, I would like you to watch the testimony of Diana and see how God changed her life. And the same God who changed her life, it's the God that wants to change your life too. Let us watch.
My name is Diana Romero. I'm 41 years old. I was actually 16 years old when the problem started in my life with the father of my kids. That's when I met him. I got involved in a relationship at a very young age, and I thought that I was in love, that this was the true love of my life, that he was going to bring me down the stars. But it seemed like a fairy tale. It wasn't quite like that. I was too young, and I got involved with him. And unfortunately, I did not take care of myself, so I got pregnant. And I had my daughter when I was 16. And I was a child having a child. But that relationship was no longer the relationship that I thought it was. Love relationship, it was more of a controlling, jealousy, possessive relationship where he was very controlling, very abusive, mentally, physically, and verbally. He didn't let me come out of the house. He would drive me to work. He would pick me up, take me there. He wouldn't let me see my friends, my family. He didn't allow me to have a life outside of home. He said that my life was just him and the kids, and there didn't exist any other life. And so when he would get upset with me for simple things of cooking or the cleaning of the house, he would hit me. He would slap me. He would punch me. We would go to the grocery stores, and if I smiled at the cashier, they were being friendly with me, and he was a gentleman, and he was saying, "Hi, ma'am, how are you?" And I greeted him back. He would come out yelling at me, saying that I was a piece of dirt, and he would slap me and punch me outside in the parking lot. And he would, batter me. And he had no shame of doing that. He didn't care. And we would get into the car, and he would continue pushing me, hitting me and punching me and slapping me. It was day in and day out. It was hell. It was torment. He would kick me. He would choke me. He pulled knives out on me. He grabbed a gun and told me that he was going to kill me if I left him. And he would tell me that the moment that I left him, he would kill me and then kill himself. He would kill me and then kill himself. And it was just too much for me. I put up with so much after 7 years. I don't want my daughter to think that this is what family life is like. And I was tired, so I said, you know what, I'm done. I called 911. They came, they got him, they arrested him, and I grabbed all my stuff, and the police officer said, grab all your stuff and don't come back. Don't come back. When I left the father of my kids, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand why did I feel so miserable inside. I didn't understand why was I not happy. Instead of being the most happiest person in life because I got out of an abusive relationship, I didn't understand why was I miserable. Why was I very unhappy? Why was I not wanting to live? I did not understand that. I was confused. I excluded myself from the world. I would go to work, wake up, go to work, come back from work, go into my bedroom, and I wouldn't attend to my kids. I would just give them microwave food and let them feed themselves. But I didn't take care of them. I wasn't a mom. And one day I was flipping through the channels. It was midnight, and I saw the TV, the Universal Church. I saw the program, and so I came to the church, and I was completely freed from that torment of loneliness, of no desire for living, wanting to die, but didn't have the courage to do anything like that. But all that went away. So I came on Fridays, and I came to the prayers of deliverance, and then I came on Sundays, and I was just following the chain prayers, and I looked for the Holy Spirit. I surrendered my life to God, and I said, God, I don't want nothing of this world. I want to stop suffering. I don't want to continue suffering like this anymore. The day I received the Holy Spirit was beautiful. It's like an outburst of emotions inside that you want to scream to the whole world. Jesus exists. Jesus is everything. Jesus is life. Jesus is the most beautiful thing. And it's just so much joy. I had all the desires to live. I was happy. I was no longer that mom that was irresponsible. I was happy to live. Everything changed. My vision of the world, my vision of living completely changed. I have peace and I have the certainty that what I want and my dreams, I'm going to fulfill them sooner than later, but I'm going to fulfill every single one of them. So come to Universal Church Kingdom of God and receive what God has to give you, which is the Holy Spirit, which is the joy of life.
And lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from alone, who made heaven and earth. He won't let my foot be moved. He who keeps me is the Lord, the one who keeps Israel. Will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is my keeper. He's the shade on my right hand. He keeps my soul.
Prepare a glass of water or get closer to your television screen. At this moment, we will have a special prayer to your name.
My God, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I pray in favor of those who watch us right now in this moment. There are people here, my Lord, who maybe have slight of an addiction to their phone, and it's gotten to the point where all they do now is argue in their family. Or maybe this person, my Lord, because they feel so lonely, the only way they feel important, valued, is on their phones. My God, I pray for these people who watch us, for those who are sick, for this mom who worries about her son constantly, for this father, the head of the house, that has problems now in his health, in his marriage. I determine, my God, that this cup of water be blessed, and in the moment that they drink of it, that in Jesus' name they receive that strength, they receive that hope, that faith, that things are going to get better. My Lord, that is how I determine this water blessed, consecrated in Jesus Christ's name. And if you believe, so then you say, amen. Amen. Let us drink now of this water. We are located here at 2420 Dufferin Street, and this Sunday we have our special event on this Sunday, the 10th of September, where we are going to be determining that in your life, anything that finds itself dry, anything that finds itself dead, anything that finds itself stagnant will receive life, because that's what the Bible shows us in the book of Ezekiel. If we can come back with the camera, in the book of Ezekiel, it teaches us that Ezekiel was placed in a valley of dry bones, and God told him to prophesy to those bones, and they will live. And the Bible says that when he did that, God lifted up an army, a whole army. Maybe in your life, things have been going horrible. Things are dry, dead. You're breathing. Right now, you're alive, but inside you're dead. Well, this Sunday, I don't just invite you, but I challenge you to be here with us. September 10th, 10 o'clock in the morning. If you want more information, you can call us. You can send us a message to the numbers that appear on your screen right now, and we'll be waiting for you so that you can see the change in your life. God bless. Have a good night.
join thousands of people every Sunday at 10 a.m. in one faith. Based on this word, again, I say to you that if two of you agree on earth concerning anything that they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Matthew 18:19. Receive the 7 prayers.
I don't know how long I had that disease, but the way I found out is I had went to the doctor to have my annual physical. So they called me about the results and told me to get to the hospital because my sugar was so high that was threatening stroke. So I participated in drinking the blessed water faithfully. I did it every day. I just continued in my faith and coming to the church and fighting against it.
Deliverance.
I was a victim of witchcraft. My mother sacrificed me since I was young. I couldn't walk. I was paralyzed for a long time. I don't remember half of my life. I remember being in the hospital. It was King County Hospital. I remember that I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to write. I saw demons. People think that evil's not real. It is real. I went to a lot of churches, like 23 Christian church. And I never felt like I felt when I came to the Universal Church. But when I came to this ministry, from the very first time that I stepped through that door, I knew there was hope in this church.
Prosperity.
I had a business that was doing at one point rather well and went down substantially, and experienced just hard times trying to bring it up. I experienced also 3 deaths in my family. My mother, my father, my brother passed away. Then we had the recession, and I really never recovered from that. And it's still hard times, but since I've been coming to the church here, my business is starting to recoup. I see opportunities where my phone is ringing. I want this house built. I want this done. My business is starting to take off to another dimension.
Family.
I was about to separate with my husband, and during the time I was coming to church, I learned to forgive. And when I learned to forgive, I started working on my relationship with my husband. And when my husband never opened up to me, never told me what was going on with his life, until one day I got a knock on the front door, and it turned out to be the police. And I had to learn, okay, God, you are here. I learned through the church, through tribulations, you use your faith. And that's when I said, hey, God is talking to me. This is a way I'm going to find a solution to my problem.
Love life.
And my husband and I were very happy, loving. Everybody in the neighborhood know us and always want their relationship to be like our relationship. Our relationship was an example that people wants to follow. Until one day I found out that my husband had someone else. And that turned me into a bitter and an angry person. Me surrendering my life to the Lord, I got baptized, was filled with the Holy Spirit. Now I have no hate. I'm not angry. I want to even save other people. Try to counsel other people who are going through problems in their marriage.
Encounter with God.
The suffering in my life, it started with me just basically having pain all over my body. And my mom took me to the doctor. They could not figure out what was wrong with me. I started having headaches, and the headaches get worse. It would go like from maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days. Then I started to have stomach pain. My whole body was in pain. And I just felt like something, just like a brick drop on my head. And I had that headache. It was so bad. And I was sweating. I felt like I was going to pass out. I wake up one Sunday morning and I'm coming to church and I'm like, I'm not leaving the church today without giving my life to God. I'm going to baptize today. And I came to church. Service is finished. I got baptized and I never looked back.
Temple of Miracles, 2420 Dufferin Street, Toronto. 2420 Dufferin Street, Toronto. And every university